This episode is brought to you by Harry's. Please visit harrys.com, HARRYS.com, and use the promo code ComedyFilmNerds to save $5 off your first purchase. Go, shave.
Yeah, shave it up. Everybody, and welcome to episode 216 of the Comedy Film Nerds podcast.
It's very exciting. Our first teenager on the show.
It is, and we squared away some microphone issues.
Yeah, we sure did. It's been great so
this
far.
Is a full disclosure
you know how we
podcast.
squared them away? We lost one.
We lost one. Yeah. Well, our fourth mic
is on set.
And we forgot to get it because we just got back from Chicago. So it's been crazy. But Chicago was great. Chicago was great. We did an awesome interview with the Hanson brothers at Lion & Kugel in Milwaukee, and Dave and Ron were it was really cool to hear their point of view about podcasting, and also they opened up about, some personal stuff, which is
this
really,
at the brewery tour?
This is at the brewery, the Lion & Kugel Brewery in Milwaukee, and we got to see how beer is made, and it was great. And then really cool interviews at the AV Club shooting at the Onion was awesome.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah.
And then Nathan Rabin was a very good interview. It was really cool. Ashley Raper did a very cool interview. A lot of fan interviews in Chicago.
Good.
And then everyone who came out to Zanies, that was cool. Andy, Amanda, Samantha, and Patrick all came out. So that was really cool. So thank you guys to everybody who came out.
And we've got we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today. We got X-Men $1 Million Arm. We've got a benefit, and we're going to be talking about the Martial Arts Kid.
Martial Arts Kid, a new movie that's coming out. So it's going to be a jam-packed episode. We're going to talk about some martial art movies as well.
Yes.
But why don't we introduce our guests?
I think we should.
We should introduce our guests. First of all, I was a fan of this guy. I watched him fight numerous times, watched him in a bunch of movies. First time on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Don the Dragon Wilson.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Our fourth mic went down, so these guys have to share a mic.
Yes.
But
they're being very gracious about it.
They're very gracious in this garage where we have to turn the air conditioning off in the middle of the summer.
It's perfect.
This is the wonderful world of
Welcome to
podcast.
show business.
Welcome to podcasting. And then Jansen Panettiere, am I pronouncing? He said there's numerous pronunciations of your last name.
Panettiere, whatever fits there.
So you guys, let's talk a little bit about. You want to do
X-Men?
You want to talk about X-Men?
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about
All right,
X-Men.
Chris saw X-Men.
Yes,
All
I
right.
saw X-Men, Days of Future Past. And I had no idea who the character was or what's going on. No, I'm kidding.
Jansen was like, I want to see this, so don't worry, we don't do spoilers on this.
No, we won't do spoilers. Now, I was watching this movie, and I have to say, first of all, it's fantastic. I really loved it. I thought it was great. It's a great summer movie, and it's interesting how we're starting to see the formula get aped from all the Marvel Universe movies. It's like, hey, maybe we should hire actual writers, actual directors, and actual actors and make an actual movie with superheroes in it as opposed to just a superhero movie. And that's what's going on. You have
this is why they're better than the Spider-Man movie.
Yes, both by 1,000 times. And what I loved about it too is if you liked the last X-Men movie, First Class, you're going to love this one because it has.
Is this better than the First Class?
You know what? I think X-Men First Class is still my favorite, but this is really close. I'm sure a lot of people are going to like this.
Where
one
do you
better
put
as well.
this between First Class and the Wolverine movie from last summer?
Oh, these two are by far better.
So you didn't like the Wolverine movie?
Well, it's not. I love Hugh Jackman. I think he's awesome. He's the best Wolverine ever. No one could take his place. Just the way they did the movie wasn't necessarily my favorite.
Why didn't you not like Wolverine?
Why? I just thought that like Stryker, totally Stryker in the second X2 was awesome. Yeah, that guy was awesome. I forget the actor's name, but he was just totally like. Again, there was this like almost fatherliness to him. This one, it was just this kind of antagonist. It was this maniacal like I'm. This is why I'm doing it. I'm heartless and stuff like that. It's just there wasn't anything there.
It wasn't nuanced.
It wasn't nuanced.
Stryker was played by Brian Cox in X-Men.
Brian Cox, awesome. Loving him. Red 2. He was awesome. If anyone saw that.
Don't ever forget an A-list actor's name.
That's not Hollywood advice. Hollywood advice. Director, even more so. Don't forget their names.
So, and I think you'll be pleased to see you might see Stryker again in this new movie.
Oh,
different actor.
all right.
Now, because the thing I loved about this movie is it followed the kind of, like I said about the last movie, where it's not just, it's really a dramatic movie, but it has the superhero elements, obviously. And I mean, it gets big and crazy. There's time travel, but also it's a period piece. There's a lot of the movie that just takes place in the 1970s. And so you're looking at this giant budget. I mean, it's got to be like $200 million, easy. This giant budget movie that not only has all these comic book elements, all these great effects, but also giant period set pieces. And it wasn't an easy thing to put together. It really wasn't. And the way it was put together was fantastic. Like you've got this dystopian future where everyone's being hunted. There's no mutants, very few mutants left, and they have to go back in time to prevent this from happening. So, and that's the setup
mutant
of the movie.
apocalypse.
Pretty much a mutant apocalypse.
Preventing the mutant apocalypse.
However, not including the mutant apocalypse. That's going to be the next movie. Apocalypse.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I love these movies.
But what was really great about it is that you've got all these great actors in this movie, and you've got you've got like different versions of each character in the same movie. That with time travel movies, you do that. But what's interesting is we've seen Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. We've seen them in the X-Men movies. When we're time traveling, going back in time, those versions of those characters are a little more compelling. When you see James McAvoy and Fassbender, you see
that's the thing we loved about
First Class.
First Class was those guys are great actors who played those younger versions of those men.
And I found I was more drawn to the story when it was there than when it was in the future, just because it just felt fresher and more nuanced and more interesting. And I'd love to know the behind the scenes where it's like with Matthew Vaughn, because he also was one of the writers on the new script. If Bryan Singer said, "Oh, this X-Men looks really cool. I want to come back to the franchise," or Matthew Vaughn said, "I did one. I don't want to do another one." I wonder how Bryan Singer came back to it. Like it'd be really. I'd love to hear the behind the scenes on that, because Matthew Vaughn did such an amazing job with First Class. I'm sure he would have done a great job on the next one. But Bryan Singer did great too. But you could see Bryan Singer, as some of these scenes were shot, he was trying to do what Matthew Vaughn did. Like he learned from watching Matthew Vaughn's movie and kind of made it a little bit more like that, as opposed to like kind of a vapid action sequence after vapid action sequence. Now, there's a million mutants in it, so if you're a fan of any X-Men at all, you're going to find someone that you're going to enjoy watching. Future mutants, past mutants, all types of mutants, and it goes through the entire history, and it's just a really great summer movie, and it's for something that's separate from like the Marvel universe,
like the Avengers movies,
the Avengers movies. It's setting up kind of its own universe, because X-Men is its own universe very nicely, where it kind of feels self-contained, so you don't mind it kind of going off on tangents every once in a while with different characters coming in and leaving. Now, if those of you, this is going to get a little nerdy, but there's two a little more, but you'll understand this. There's Magneto's children are Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Now, so you have these two characters.
We're talking about two different levels of nerdy.
Yeah, we are. Perhaps we are. But because of the rights issues
Look around
in
you,
the
Jansen.
movies,
This is a nerd cave. We are in a nerd
because of the rights issues in the movies.
I'm like the gargoyle sitting.
Yeah. You're going to see these two characters in the Fox movies and the Marvel's Avengers movies. And these are like the only two characters that will cross over, because they share rights to these characters. But they won't be played by the same actors, so they're actually going to be different actors. They couldn't work that out. So the guy
that's
that
going to
plays,
be problematic?
I don't think so. I think it'll just be a little confusing at first. You'll be like, hey, that's the same characters over here. Like the character that the actor that plays Quicksilver is really good in X-Men First Class. So I don't know how good it'll be in the next Avengers. But so all in all, really liked this movie. I thought it was great. Great summer movie. Great X-Men movie. I think it's First Class is still my favorite, but I would put this at number 2, but very close.
Okay. I did not get a chance to see X-Men because it was sold out in every theater yesterday. Because I flew back yesterday from Chicago, and so it was still Memorial Day, and
it was packed.
It was packed. Everything was so it was all sold out. So I went to go see $1 Million Arm, and I saw it at my favorite movie theater. The dine-in theater with the reclining seats where they serve you food. So I loved it. It was a great. Anytime I see something at that theater,
you're very forgiving.
This movie is exactly what you think it would be. It is a cheesy sort of Disney sports movie.
Right.
But I know that going in.
It's like the Jamaican bobsled team.
It really is. It's that. Remember the Titans. It's just those same formulas over and over. But I'm okay with it.
Right.
So I Remember the Titans was the original.
Yeah.
Period.
Because your sister was in it?
Yeah.
Not at all.
But like it did follow that true story sports movie model. And they did a fine job with it. I mean, there's obviously there's some cheesy moments or whatever, but John Hamm was great. Seeing, obviously he's battling this thing that a lot of actors have had to do, which is he is this iconic TV character.
Right.
Everyone only sees him as Don Draper. So, yeah, which is great. Jansen, Mad Men is an awesome show. It's so great. Jansen, you're angrily in favor of this. You're like, I like that so much.
No, I love John Hamm, but, you gotta, it's this thing called rent, and I decided to create a production company. So, it costs money.
Right.
You gotta take something.
And it's cool to see him. I'm sure the battle that he's going through, honestly, this is not like a battle.
And The Rock and Vin Diesel already turned it down.
Right. Well, no, it's like I'm sure every script is, it's Don Draper and his agent. It's Don Draper
at a zoo.
It's Don, I'm sure he's constantly getting pitched the same thing over and over. But I thought he did a great job with it. You know what I mean? It's Don Draper on spring break. You know what I mean? It's just like, so, it was cool, and I think he did a fine job. And these kids, they did a great, and they kept the story pretty accurate. They went over to India and they shot the first part of the movie. All takes place there, and it's a part of the film. And you can tell that I've never been there, but from hearing, it's tough. Everybody gets sick from something. Like you can just sort of feel that.
I shot a movie in India, and people don't realize this, but there are more movies shot there than any place in the world.
Oh yeah,
yes,
but not American movies. You can count on your hand. They fake it, and now I know why. The movie was called. They told me the movie was called Operation Cobra. I said, "Oh, that's Operation Cobra." When I got there, I found out they renamed it Inferno. Because it was the hottest part of the world. But not like LA. We got about 100 degrees here, but not humidity of about 95%.
Right.
When you got the humidity, and oh, by the way, the producer was from India, and I won't mention names, but he sent us over there. It was the hottest part of the world, and of course, nobody was working there. Indians know that. They shut down their whole film production. Except for us, the American crew, and your Canadian crew shows up to shoot in a studio. Interiors, no air conditioning.
Oh my God.
Now, you'll learn this. Yes, because you'll be doing martial art action. You do one take, there's no air conditioning. You're covered with sweat.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
You know what an action fight scene looks like. I mean, we're sweating. So now what do? Now you're all they had 3 sets of wardrobe on fans. They dry them with the fan, the air. You do one take, every take you're changing your shirt. It's the toughest thing I ever did in my life. It's not my fights, it's making that movie in India. It's tough. Okay, what were we talking about? Let's go back and get off the India thing. But anyway, just when you said the word India, it brought back all the memories.
No, but I think...
What was the final title of the movie?
No, in America, I believe. In America, it was released by Roger Corman, actually bought the rights to it, Operation Cobra. And then overseas, it was called Inferno.
Okay.
There's no fire in this movie. Yeah. The fire was on the set when I was doing every take. There's no fire. It's called Inferno overseas.
It's like the Gymkata poster. It's like there's ninjas on the poster, the movie poster. There's no ninjas in the movie.
There's no. Well, no, honestly though, but Don, what you're bringing, it is a valid point because knowing that, and I've heard numerous stories about people having to shoot in India, I could tell that all of these American actors that are over there, Alan Arkin and John Hamm and everybody, but that was part of the story.
How hot it was.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, you're in this country that's that hot. It's a completely different set of rules. Everyone, the streets are packed. Everyone's honking. Like, it's crazy. But that was part of the story. They're trying to find these guys, and they're basically doing a like talent competition. This agent, J.B. Bernstein, who John Hamm is playing, is a real guy, was like, I need to create some sort of hype. So we're going to go travel to all these villages and get these young cricket players or kids that it's all country about cricket. Can we get them to pitch? So they're traveling from city to city, and when the actors are sitting in some truck and they're hot and sweaty, I know they're not acting. I know nobody sprayed their face with sweat, man.
That's unnecessary.
The director probably went in and it's like, it's really hot in here. Hey, can you think we just write this in? Can someone say something just so she can stop patting me with a damn towel? Like,
I think that's it. They just said, well, and that was part of the story, and I'm so glad that they went to India to shoot it there because I don't know that you could fake that. You can't fake India. You can't.
You know, there are some strange things. Now I'm just going to give you. We do not have enough time to talk about my India trip. We can talk about it when we're bored on the set, because there are a million stories that you never experienced. I've been in the film business now for 30 years. Nothing like it compares. First of all, my choreographer, who flew from L.A., quit the first day. He lasted one day and quit. He could not be out in that sun for 12 hours. He couldn't even, he was done. So I had to fly my choreographer from LA. I called him up. He was at a picnic. He thought I was back in town. Thought, what's going on? I said, get on the next flight to India. And that's not a joke. He got on the next flight to India. And because we had a movie to shoot. We had no choreographer. But anyway, it was that tough. I mean, it was, you would think they have a religion, the Hindu religion, and I don't know all the details, but it teaches them the reason you suffer today is for something you did in the past. So the people I'm with that are driving the brand new Mercedes, and I'm staying in the 5-star hotels, nobody feels guilty because they obviously in the past must have done something pretty darn good because their God gave them the Mercedes and the big house and the big wad of cash in the pocket. The other people, you just got to take, that's what you're given because obviously you were not good in your former lives. Oh my gosh, what a scam that is.
Yeah, better luck next time.
That doesn't work in our country.
No, in our country it's like, I do something bad, it's whether or not it's good or bad, it's supposed to be for me. I deserve this. I'm supposed to learn something from this. Yet in that language, it's like, oh, no, it's fine. They just get the Mercedes. It's okay.
Here's where I picture it, though. Just little inside information if you ever go to India on a visit.
And you're shooting a martial arts movie.
Or any movie, though.
Here's why religion works to control people. I had a camera. I wanted to take some pictures on the set. We had 300 extras. Now, how we know we're going to get. You think we're going to have 300 extras in our movie? No, you got to pay these guys. Yeah. They got to be fed. Well, over there, they probably give them each a bowl of rice or something because they all showed up. And so I had a camera, and I said, where can I set this down? I mean, because I didn't think the actors or the crew would steal something from me, but these 300 extras. Sure. I'm going to set my camera down. I mean, these guys don't have money to rub together 2 pennies.
That's a week's worth of food.
They said, oh, just put it there with the equipment. Nobody will touch it. And I said, wait, this camera, this is expensive. He said, no, just nobody will touch it. Nobody touched it. Because obviously they didn't have much money in this life. And they believe if they take the dragon's camera, their next life, they may be worse. So nobody touched it. That's the power of a religious society.
It's interesting, too, you talk about that because when they're shooting this movie, when they go to each village and when this actually happened, they went to the village, and some of the Indian news teams were like, "Oh my God, some local kid might get a shot at the major." So the whole village came out. So the exact same thing happened. Like this Hollywood crew is filming that thing from 6 years ago, And you could just tell these aren't paid extras. The whole village came out and just showed up, and that was like part of it. And it was really interesting.
Now, could you see like the caste system? Did they kind of go through?
They didn't go through that, but I mean, I'm aware of it just from having studied a little bit about Hinduism, how there is this caste system, and it is what's Don talking about. They're like, well, I was born poor. This is where I'm at. I don't, and that's the thing. That's most of the world. I don't think as Americans we understand that whole like, well, you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That doesn't exist in most of the world. Most of the world, it's like, sorry.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Look, we in America, we have homeless people. I was just in Venice Beach yesterday. Homeless people that need to skip a few meals. They're overweight.
Right.
In India, if you look at somebody, they are literally starving on the streets. And that's the difference. Our homeless are just people without houses.
Right.
Their people are starving. Most of the world goes to sleep at night hungry. And dehydrated. They don't have enough water. And, we are so lucky.
That's part of the story because John Hamm's character is just this like, I'm this big shot LA sports agent and I got to get these kids to work, and he brings them to LA and he doesn't realize these guys have never been out of their village.
Right.
They've never been out of their village, and now they're in LA.
And then he realizes he's responsible for them.
He's responsible for them, and even though they're 19 or 20, that's not 19 or 20 over there is not the same as 19. It's not like, I went to college and I've had my own car. And so that's a part of
they didn't have their own cell phones?
No, they didn't have their own cell phones. But so that's part of the story. And so overall, I would say this, and then we'll get into the other stuff. If you know what a Disney sports movie is.
Right. It's a by the numbers.
It's
thing.
but it's fun.
Was this based on fact?
It is. This actually happened. These two guys then, and you can look their stories up online. So this isn't like a spoiler alert, but like they get drafted and they play minor league ball, and there's all this stuff, and it's what that process was like, and it's a true story. This guy is a real agent, and it was really awesome. It was. I mean, in terms of all that stuff, again, the sort of cheesy Disney stuff in it.
Sure.
I love. Overall, it was fine, and I was in a comfortable.
You're in a comfortable chair and got food.
A baseball movie called Perfect Game, filmed in Monterrey, Mexico, about the 1957 Little League Mexican baseball team going across the border and winning the Little League World Series. And in the final game, the kid pitches a perfect game.
True story?
The only perfect game ever to be pitched in minor league, I guess.
Oh, wow.
This came out in 2009. Director William Deere, The Perfect Game. That's sweet.
Wow.
Yeah. That's awesome.
All right. Before we get into the martial arts kid, let's do we have a new sponsor this week.
We do have a new sponsor.
And this is Harrys.com. And again, the great thing is this is another product that's very inexpensive. This is a shaving kit so you could get online. And they're $15. But here's the thing. You could get $5 off with our coupon code, Comedy Film Nerds.
And I say this. Obviously, they sent it to us to use. I have been shaving since I was 12. And I can't use. I hate
you.
I know.
This took me years, man.
Yeah.
Well, I got this last year. I'm so excited.
Well, but let's be honest. There's no way to prove that. Go ahead.
Chris is.
I'm a little skeptical.
He thinks I'm lying.
Yeah.
So
when your dad comes back in, I'll ask him.
This is a true story. Why would I lie about when I started shaving? This is my scam to the world. Graham started shaving when he was 15. I knew it. So I've been shaving a long time. I can't use an electric razor. My neck always gets chewed up, no matter what. And I don't shave every day. So we got this stuff, and I usually use the fancy the Mach 3 stuff. Those, and they're expensive, and I have to use those and all this stuff. So we got the Harrys, and I was like, okay, let's see if this works, because if it doesn't, it's a great shave, dude. It's a great shave. I shave in my shower. They give you and they even give you the special cream that comes with it. I'm like, I like
it's
using.
It's a whole kit. It's everything.
It's a whole kit. I'm like, I like using my hippie stuff that I get at the Whole Foods, so I'll try it. Their cream was great. It's the tightest, cleanest, least cut up neck shave I've ever had.
Wow, that should go on a poster. The least cut up neck shave I've ever had.
Because my neck gets all messed up. The hairs grow weird. It cuts them up. So go to harrys.com, you guys, and save $5 by using coupon code Comedy Film Nerds.
Yeah, and one of the
5 o'clock shadow.
I get a 5 o'clock shadow within an hour.
5 o'clock shadow next week at 5 o'clock.
You have a weekly shadow
at 5 o'clock.
Technically, yeah, still 5 o'clock.
Every other Wednesday, Jansen gets a shadow. All right.
Well, one of the things I did want to mention, too, is one of the reasons they started the company is they wanted to actually kind of give you all that stuff for a much cheaper price, the quality for a cheaper cost.
The blades are like made in Germany.
Yeah.
This is where I'm getting my blades from now on, not the Costco. So,
all right.
Harrys.com. All right, now let's get into this.
Yes.
So Don and Jansen are working on a film, you guys. It's called The Martial Arts Kid. You guys are in the middle of a Kickstarter campaign. And
when does it end, the Kickstarter?
In about, I believe, a
8
week. We've got like 7 or 8 days, I believe, left of the Kickstarter program.
Game on.
Although we will accept money after that fact, but
won't we
I
all?
believe they're going to do some. This is my first foray into Kickstarter. Yes, I've never. I've been in many years talked to people about investing or putting money into films, but they always expect not just their money back, but a big profit. They want to make the next Saw or Jaws or something. They want to do low budget movies only to hit that big home run. These people are putting in because they like the concept, and it's an anti-bullying theme throughout the whole movie. And
now it's a family film, right?
Oh, of course.
That. I get my butt kicked a lot.
Well, you are the guy the bullies are. You're going to one-upmanship the bullies by the end of the movie. Remember, it's 90 minutes.
I know.
Now, 80 minutes, you might be getting your butt handed to you. Maybe by various guys and maybe a girl or two. But in the end,
fine with the girl.
In the end, you're going to be the hero.
All right, so you have 8 days to go. The total you guys are looking for is $150,000. They're currently at $106,000, you guys, which we as earbuds know that's not that much ground to cover. We were 60 or 70 grand short 4 days out and thought we're never going to make this.
And that is a lot of ground to cover.
It is a lot of ground to cover, but it all came in late. So it's really cool, and it's starring Don the Dragon Wilson and Cynthia Rothrock, two martial arts icons. So Don, go into where you guys came up with the idea for this and working with, because you and Cynthia, between the two of you, have done
60 or 70 movies we've starred in. I mean, I appeared in more, but I mean, just We Were the Stars, at least 60 movies.
So where did you guys come up with the idea for this?
It was not my idea. My brother and
Jim.
his producing partner, Michael Baumgarten, came up with the idea. And it is, I don't want to call it a ripoff of, quote, The Karate Kid. It's a homage to The Karate Kid.
And so then Jansen is playing...
Well...
The Karate Kid.
Robbie, the martial arts
the martial arts kid.
And this is based now. Don, is this based a little bit on you're growing up? Because I know part of it. You guys are going to shoot some in Florida, where you and your brother Jim grew up. Let me give our fans this background. I met Don and his brother Jim at a dojo where I trained. Jerry Blank, who's was a kickboxer for a long time. That's probably where you met Jerry a long time ago.
Jerry Blank is a former world champion who was managed by my brother, and my brother was my manager. James Wilson was my manager.
Okay, so then Jerry, is an amazing dude. He's this Southern guy who runs this dojo in the Palisades, and he is this. When you go in there, you feel like you're in like a neighborhood restaurant. He's a guy who's had a family restaurant for 30 years.
He's always the honorary mayor of this. I mean, he's just, you know what we used to call him, my best friend was Chris Penn, Sean's younger brother. We used to call him Barney Rubble. Because no matter what Fred does to Barney, he loves the guy. Barney's the nicest guy that ever lived in cartoons.
And Jerry's like, anytime I'd come in there for a class, he's like, "Oh, Graham, hey, you got to meet this guy here, and this Don Wilson." Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Oh, wow!" So there's this whole, and every year they have a party because he's been in the Palisades. He's the grand marshal of the 4th of July parade. Like I marched in it 2 summers ago. So there's all these parade floats, and then there's all these kids in Stars and Stripes karate gis walking down Sunset Boulevard in the Palisades, and I was in my samurai. Now
is this also where you samurai sword
this is where this is where I trained samurai sword. This is where I met Master Shimabukuro, who was like one of the best swordsmen on the earth at the time. He unfortunately passed away. So this is where I was introduced to this world, and I met Jim and Don numerous times, and we actually were at a kickboxing event in the fall or something, or summer.
It was the Glory event in Los Angeles. Yeah, it was on CBS or NBC. One of the networks carried it.
And we were watching it, and we were just talking, and I was saying, like, to Don, I was like, if you guys, you know, I've studied enough martial arts. I could look good getting my ass kicked on camera. And I said, you know, if you ever need comic relief, I can just be the guy wisecracking while I'm getting thumped. And then they started talking, and Jim was like, well, we have this idea. And then that's sort of how they came up with this.
That was the martial arts kid.
That was the martial arts kid.
The genesis of it.
Yeah.
Talking about doing a martial art movie for the family. And, of course, comedy is an important element of it. But, you know, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on the star, but it's all about this one kid, and it's how he overcomes all the obstacles through the martial arts. It's kind of Chuck Norris started a program called Kick Drugs Out of America, which shows how kids can get out of the drug, you know, thing through the martial arts. And Jansen's, you know, he's going to be the martial art kid.
So Jansen, like, obviously you've been how old were you first started acting on camera?
Let's see. Well, my sister's an actress. And she
Hayden?
did Hayden.
Yes, we've heard of her.
Hayden, yeah. A few people have. Yeah, she goes around. She did work for Pixar, and she got a lot of these stuffed animals sent home. These giant stuffed animals from FAO Schwartz, which really pissed me off because I was like, "Where's my stuffed animals? Like, what is this? She doesn't even play with this stuff anymore, and this is like, ah." So immediately I was like, "Mom, I want to get into this. You want to be an actor? Well, I want stuffed animals. So yeah, sure. However I need to go about that, let's get that done."
Whatever. So you got into show business for free stuffed animals.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I got into this for. And when I came into the casting room, honestly, it was really funny how it worked. It just kind of everything just clicked. It was at Gower Studios, and I ended up doing a backflip. I'm a tumbler. I'm like do gymnastics and like parkour, free running, tricking, whatever you want to call it. So I ended up doing a backflip in the waiting room, and editor comes out. I was like, with that WTF face, you know, like what was that? And they're like, "Oh, sorry, he just did a backflip in the room. Everything cool? Yeah, let's not do that again." I'm like, "Okay." All right. I hope that just didn't blow it.
Didn't you see the sign? No
backflipping. No talking on cell phones.
Exactly.
No backflipping.
Immediately, Michael just drags me into one of these little rooms, and I'm like, "Oh, I guess that was good. You know, that's good." With this movie, Robbie, playing the character, I connect a lot with it. Like, I'm from New York. He's from Detroit. You know, very urban settings and stuff like that. He gets in a lot of trouble and stuff and has a lot of anger issues. That's something, of course, everybody has their own level of things that they have to work through.
Now the character probably wanted stuffed animals too.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's probably his lack of stuffed animals.
He would use them for target practice.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. A little bit different. But I definitely. I connect with this character a lot because I have my own anger issues that I've worked through and through martial arts, actually.
So what martial arts have you studied?
I studied karate, Okinawan-style karate, and for the last 4 years, and when I was younger for a bit, Krav Maga.
Oh, nice.
So I used to get picked on by bullies when I got out to California. And it's a different picking on from New York and LA. New York... I had the famous sister. I was short, whatever reason you want. They picked on me, and usually it's a lot of physical fights and stuff like that. In LA, they just kind of name call you. It's
They call it laid back. That's just laid back.
Yeah, it's just he's poor. What? You're punching me? Stop! It's ridiculous. So it's just not. It's just there was a different thing, but they were still name calling me. And if I could have went back there. You ever wish when you were being the man you are now to go back into your little body? During that time and be like, "Oh yeah, you want to fight, kid? All right, come on, let's go outside." Throw the backpack off and just wham! How'd you like that? That's if you only knew what you knew then, what you know now, I would have kicked that kid's ass. Sorry.
And that's sort of the theme of this film is how martial arts can help with a kid that's getting picked on, with a kid that's having whatever sort of issues.
Absolutely. That is the basic theme. And it is, Chuck Norris has a program which he started in Texas called Kick Drugs Out of America. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to show how martial arts could help kids get off the drug thing. Now, this is when it's really not revolving around drugs, but it is revolving around being a bully and the gang mentality. His character will eventually find his gang will be the martial arts school mm-hmm. and the people there. Mm-hmm. And he can do backflips. I know that you do the backflips and you study martial arts, but
in approved areas.
As an actor, I saw his audition. Everybody's gonna be shocked when they see him. He's gonna blow people away. He's phenomenal.
Now, is this where you guys didn't know each other before this project, where it was just an audition?
I met Don this morning.
Yeah. Did not know him. I'm not saying that because we've been long time. Well, he hasn't been long time anything in my years. But no.
I was born in 94. Most of you guys are going to chuckle at that.
Yeah. I turned pro in 74. So I went in the Coast Guard to keep from going to Vietnam. My generations are several back there for you.
Well, Don, let's go into a little bit some of the films that you have worked on in the past and what that experience is like. I mean, like when because you were doing movies while you were still fighting professionally, correct?
Yes, I had not. Well, what happened was this. I fought in Hong Kong, mm-hmm. and at one time, guys like Jackie Chan and Jet Li, those guys would come to my fights and just sit in the audience. Nobody barely knew them. They may have done some films, but they were not international box office stars. They were known in Hong Kong to the local people, but I was the guy they were all coming to see in Hong Kong. I drew the big sellout crowds, and basically I had 6 fights in Hong Kong against Thai boxers, which, I was a kung fu stylist, so they like seeing me beat up the Thai fighters, the Thai champions. So I was pretty popular at that time in Hong Kong.
Wait, go into that a little bit.
Was it like a pecking order?
Well, because isn't like Muay Thai is like
Thai boxers basically, they first of all, it's a sport. It's not martial arts. Martial arts, Bruce Lee used to say his favorite technique was a finger jab. You take your eyes out. Now, everybody's got eyes like grapes. So it doesn't matter if you weigh 220. Doesn't matter if you got muscles. Bruce Lee takes your eyes out.
You're done.
Right. And he was pretty fast. I've seen him move. He's pretty fast. And, I never fought like this. I never fought anybody like this. So, I think maybe people asked me, could I take him? I said, well, in his kickboxing match, of course. He was 147. I'm 175. On the street, but it's a different thing. So, anyway, I was a martial artist who did the kickboxing, and they brought me over there. I was a kung fu stylist, so they brought me over there to fight the Thais, and I was successful. I was winning. And a movie company approached me about doing a movie they were shooting in New York City. And I said, sure. They wanted a bad guy, so I played the bad guy. And that was about in 82. It was called ABC in Chinatown. Nobody's ever seen it. It's never been done in English. Unless you speak Cantonese, you won't be watching it. Well, no, subtitled in Mandarin. So if you speak Mandarin, then you might watch it with the subtitles. But no, I made no decision to be an actor. Chuck Norris, who I met in the late 70s, he was acting. He was a fighter, and he had become an actor. And he suggested it to me. He said, Don, look, when you get ready to retire, move out to L.A., get an agent, audition. You might have a second career like me. It's been really good. And that's what I did. When I've retired 3 times now, by the way. Any promoters out there, though, if you got cash, I'll fight in the parking lot.
You're still fighting. Let me say this.
Oh, yeah.
You are in amazing shape. You are probably 20 years older than me, and you're amazing shape and could kick my ass. It's...
No, the young guys, what they would count on is, he's going to get tired in the later rounds. Well, you know what? My last fight, which was 2002, I knocked the guy out with 4 seconds left on the clock in the 10th round. So you may go 10 with me, but you better, the last 4 seconds maybe you're under. I still got a chance.
When we went to the fights together, my favorite thing was afterwards, Don goes, none of those guys really impressed me. I know I could have had and sitting next to you watching the fights was awesome. He's like, he should do this and that.
They're 3-round fighters.
I know.
And they were tired in the second round. It was embarrassing to me.
No, you're like Batman in Batman 3.
But now, how often
compared to Michael Keaton? You mean Michael Keaton fighting the newer Batman?
Different world.
Yeah.
How often do you still train?
Let's go back to the other guy. What was the guy that played Batman on TV? What was it?
Adam West.
Adam West fighting the new Batman.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan's Christian Bale's.
Yeah. Now, how often do you still train?
Well, I train every day I can, which is not every day, unfortunately. I'm not a professional athlete now. I'm I fake it in movies, which, like we were speaking before, Keanu Reeves could do this stuff in the movies. I take no great pride in my fight scenes in movies.
One of the things I want to say this, when we were at that fight and I was telling you, I was like, look, I'd love to do this. I go, I'm no professional fighter. I do have a black belt. And you said, Graham, you only need a green belt to be good on camera.
In movies, yeah. Look, Angelina Jolie can do fight scenes. I mean, it's
right.
Look, it's make believe. Do we know if Clint Eastwood can shoot a gun?
No,
he might not be able to hit a broadside of a barn, but when he plays Dirty Harry, he never misses. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. 3 guys go down. So it's make believe. Hollywood is make believe, and some of these quote other martial art action stars who believe they're tough guys because the stuntmen are being paid to go down, and they're throwing these fake punches, and then they think they actually are fighters. I tell them it's like Tyson fighting Stallone. Do you think there'd be a difference?
Yeah.
Stallone plays a great Rocky, though. You know, he went 12 with Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
I saw it. And he was fast.
That would have been a great movie. Just like following Rocky's whole like dun 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 dun, and then like he's fighting Mike Tyson, just wham. That's the end of the movie. That's just black. You're just like, oh, what happened?
Now I want to ask both of you this because you've been in a ton of martial arts movies, and is this your first one? But,
this is not my first one.
But you've seen a lot too. I'm sure you've been a fan of martial arts
I'm
movies.
a huge fan of all action
Now,
films.
what is the one thing that makes a great martial arts movie?
Don?
Well, okay. Well, are you saying I should answer because I've done great movies, or I've watched a good movie? I've watched it. No, I've done some successful ones, financially successful. But if you say a great one, I think something like Enter the Dragon is a great one because it stood the test of time. I mean, people still watch it today, and it's a very low budget movie for Hollywood, and they the Hollywood studio system, they didn't believe Bruce Lee was the star. They thought John Saxon was the star.
There's trailers and movie posters where it's like John Saxon, and it's
listen, I've met John Saxon. He's a wonderful human being and a talented actor, and had a long career. Nobody watches Enter the Dragon for John Saxon.
No,
I mean
it's Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
So what do you think then? Why like those classics like Enter the Dragon? Why is that? What
my gut feeling is, it's because we in the martial art community, we know Bruce Lee was for real. That's the difference. And that's why even Chuck Norris's older movies made in the 70s still resonate and still get redistributed over and over and over because the new martial artists coming up support the real martial artists. I'm saying the 10 million people in the U.S. that study martial arts, the millions of people worldwide that study it, they follow the real people, not just the actors. And when you have movies like The Matrix, nothing against Keanu Reeves, but the martial art community is not following that because of Keanu Reeves. It's just a good, entertaining movie. It's sci-fi, great special effects, many other things. Reason why people would watch it for entertainment value. But I believe that the great martial art movies that resonate are because the leads of the movies were and are still famous within the martial art community.
I couldn't agree more, Don. I think Chris Farley was pretty amazing in Beverly Hills King Ninja.
The martial arts community knew how good he was.
I thought that was inspiring to me. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
For his weight, he is flexible.
Yeah.
For a guy built like that, he could do all kinds of stuff. He could do things.
Well, my favorite things about martial art films is what you're talking about. You've got somebody like a Jet Li or someone like that who is they are a skilled martial artist. I remember Jackie Chan. I remember watching I was the DVD for 36 Chamber of the Shaolin, and the special features was they were talking about all those guys were doing was training leading up to it while they were shooting during stop downs. That's all they did. They were kung fu enthusiasts. And to me, when my favorite martial arts movies like Enter the Dragon. So you've got Bruce Lee, who's just amazing, right? And then you've got the principles of the martial arts. He makes there's so many great little lines in there that he's really teaching you about martial arts.
Absolutely. Bruce Lee put in some of his own philosophy. And I only had the guts to actually start doing that probably in the last 10 or 15 years of doing films. Because in the beginning, I just did what I was told. Basically.
Sure.
Just actor for hire.
Kick the bad guy's ass.
But I started adding a line and adding a scene and things and to put some of my philosophy into the movie. There's a scene where a guy breaks a board in front of him to impress him. Because it's impressive when
I
you see a
love this
board.
line.
A guy throws a punch and a board breaks. You know, you
love
think,
that
man,
line.
that's a board is harder than my nose. And Bruce Lee said the classic line is, boards don't hit back.
Right.
That's what he used to always say when guys would do demonstrations and things, and he was unimpressed because, yeah, it's great you can break boards all day long.
Yeah.
They do not hit back.
Well, there's a great other scene. There's another great, one of the great messages that was clearly Bruce Lee's philosophy when they're on the boat traveling to the island for the competition. And there's like, I think an Australian guy or something, he's just a meathead who's like, let's fight. Yeah. And he goes, okay. And he just tricks him into getting into the dinghy and following.
Well, he beat him with his IQ.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what his whole philosophy was, like
Fighting without fighting. Yeah.
fighting without fighting. And like having studied the samurai sword, which I absolutely love, and people always say, well, what's the practicality of a samurai sword? And Master Chief,
Zombie apocalypse.
apocalypse, hello. When they come, I'm going to be ready, and I won't run out of bullets. But one of the things that they teach was, victory comes with the sword still in the scabbard. And they would always say, my instructors would say, how can we apply what we're learning in class to everyday life? And he'd say, you're in a business dealing, you're negotiating someone, you're fighting with somebody. How can you resolve it to where you both have honor without? Because when you pull your blade, someone's going to get hurt.
Those philosophies you're talking about, Sun Tzu's got a book called Art of War. Business executives all over the world have studied that since he wrote it. That is business. You're going to, I don't literally decapitate your competition, but it's about winning and losing, accepting defeat when it happens, learning from it. It's all the life lessons that you're saying. The martial arts teaches that.
Right, because in a fist fight or a martial arts fight or whatever, everyone's getting hurt. If we both start throwing hands, even if one guy gets knocked,
it's my hands getting broken, Graham.
yeah,
It's it's a little different. I have broke my hands over 10 times, so
but you know what I mean.
I am getting hurt.
boards.
I am getting hurt, but
You're
they're
punching
pounding
boards.
my hands with their face.
Well, also the Bruce Lee's, I believe it was one of his older screenplays that he never got to make was Circle of Iron. Was the one that actually I think David Carradine was
Right.
in it. It started off, and it goes through all of those philosophies. It was almost like a quest movie that starts with martial arts and goes through the different philosophies. And I can't remember if he passed away before it was made, or it was.
I think so. I think
think so.
I believe if he'd have seen David Carradine playing the lead character, he would have had a heart attack.
Yeah.
I think it's David Carradine. By the way, I was actually pretty on friendly terms with him.
Yeah.
Because it's a small circle of people who do martial arts stuff and also entertainment. But David's one of them, and he's a great guy. But Bruce Lee, of course, was born to play that character. Flute, I think, was one of the names that went by. Also, it was an idea that Bruce Lee had about
The movie, the TV show Kung Fu was supposed to be for Bruce Lee. Yeah, so
but he was too Asian for it. Is
Yeah.
what he said.
yeah, so they went with the guy that was not as Asian looking. But
the guy with not as Asian.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Speaking of Asians in
know.
Hollywood, now. Can you name
It was before Shanghai
any
Noon.
Asian Americans who have I've starred in 30 Hollywood films now. I think I've got. They don't star Asian Americans in Hollywood films unless they have the broken English accent. Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Chow Yun-fat. I'm the only one that has a Southern accent.
Bulletproof Monk.
You know,
Yeah, but it had to
But I
have
mean,
Yeah, what
Stifler
about
in
that
it.
guy in Slumdog Millionaire? That'd be Asian, right?
technically, he
India?
was. He's from India.
Yeah, India's Asia. My goodness.
yeah, but I meant.
I know what you're saying.
No.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. The doors have not busted down. And so that's Slumdog. Is there Slumdog Millionaire? If there are other 10, 20, there is a preconceived idea that when you have an Asian, and if you're going to have him in a Hollywood film, he's got to have the broken English accent. He can't be. I'm from the South. I'm from Florida. I got a Southern accent. I got South in my mouth. and they're not writing roles where they did when I moved out here. There was no roles for 6 foot tall Asians with Southern accents. There wasn't.
Is that part of why? I mean, obviously, you've helped, especially your brother Jim. Kind of the reason of doing the martial arts kid is like, now we're in this age where you can do Kickstarter, raise your own money, you can distribute yourself. Where it's like, you know what? I don't have to wait for Hollywood to
I
write
don't
it.
have to worry about gatekeepers. I can do it on my own.
Well, I actually have been doing movies. I mean, I've done 30 movies other than this one, and they were all Hollywood films. And the door is breaking down to some extent, but still, I mean, I am the only one. I believe Philip Ree Philip Ree had the best of the best things. Remember that was actually it was Sony, which is still Hollywood, but it was a Japanese company producing, starring a Korean guy. It's slowly the doors broke down because when I first moved here in '85, there were no Denzel Washingtons, Will Smiths, Wesley Snipes. Blacks in America were not starring in studio films.
Right.
They were doing what they call black exploitation, and that's guys like Richard Roundtree, Fred Williamson, those guys who are all friends of mine. But they were not, I don't want to say allowed, but they were not considered box office stars for A-list films.
Well, that's been a fight. I mean, that's been a
Now
fight.
that's changed.
That's
Now
been a
that's
fight
changed.
with women. That's been a fight
Yep.
with minorities. I mean, that's been a fight with Hollywood for a long time. So,
I think that's just been a fight with humanity.
yeah.
It's just reflected in the
think
movie
about
industry.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah, old white dudes want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
It's the crackers holding us back. The white man keeping me down.
Oh, every day he's keeping me down.
Yeah, the white man controls podcasting.
Yeah, he
this
does.
is ridiculous.
I know. He's got his boot on our digital necks. All right, guys. Well, it's go to Kickstarter.com. The movie is called The Martial Arts Kid.
There's a week left.
There's a week left. It's a
Some
cool.
great rewards too.
It's a really cool rewards. Like
you can be in the movie.
you can be in
too,
the movie.
right?
I'm going to be in the film.
Yep.
So
You're going to be in the film?
yeah, you want to see me get my ass kicked, guys? Then contribute to
He
this.
probably should be the one that does it.
I think
kick your ass.
Jansen's going to kick my
your
ass.
Absolutely, any day. Any day.
Oh,
let's
can
do
you
it.
play an arrogant gym teacher?
Whatever happens in this movie, I'm going to be a dick and I'm going to get my ass kicked. That was my deal. I just want to be a dick who gets his ass kicked. So check it out, you guys. All right. Well, nothing moving forward. There's not that much DVD wise.
No, there's it was a good week to release something, and no one did.
Well, let's talk about this. Sean Merrick used to be our intern, who now works for Sideshow Network.
Yes.
Has been battling cancer.
Yep.
And he's
Hodgkin's lymphoma,
Hodgkin's
I believe.
lymphoma. And we're doing a fundraiser for him to Wednesday night, the 28th, May 28th at the Hollywood Improv. Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
It's a great show. If you're in LA, you're going to be, it's Alonzo Bowden.
Yeah, there's a lot of good comics on it.
Myself, Chris, and a couple others. It's going to be an amazing show, and you're going to help out a guy who, the podcast community, he's a part of it. And
It's a great cause too, and he's been, he was our intern. And he's been supportive of podcasting from the get go, and he works really hard over at Sideshow, and we really want to help him out.
yeah, and we got some great, and him and his wife were very, really cool for opening up and letting us interview them for the documentary.
Yes.
And he was like, let us follow him into getting chemo and all this stuff, which I can't even imagine what they've been having to go through. So it's a great way to come see an awesome show, and the money's going to go help somebody that's in our world, guys.
Yeah, so if you can come out tomorrow night, please do.
And then we will be in Australia doing earbuds interviews.
Later in the week, I can't believe we're saying that. Later in the week, we'll be in Australia.
2 days we get on a plane to go
Yeah.
around the other side of the world. So we will be shooting in Australia. That is Sunday, June 1st at the Eternity Playhouse on 39 Burton Street in East Sydney. Come in on Palmer Street around the corner, buzz the buzzer and wait, and we'll have somebody get you for the interview. And we'll be doing that interview probably from
12 to 3:30.
12 to 3:30 because
Yeah.
they have a show that night, so we
Yes.
got to get out of there.
Actually, our writer, CJ Johnson, it's his play.
It's his play.
Yeah.
So
You know what? You can come for the interview and stay and watch
stay
the
for some
play.
theater. Support
Yeah.
support CJ Johnson, who is our Australian movie correspondent.
Yes.
And our dingo wrangler. So
Easy.
So come on out to Sydney, and then we're going to, of course, be recording some episodes over there, and we're going to interview Russell at the mines and out in the Outback in Newman on the 3rd, and then we go to Japan, where we will be interviewing Amanda, Andy, and Sanai, Big Fan Japan. So that's going to be awesome, and Sanai is going to be a guest on this show. She says she doesn't want to, and she's scared, but
I can understand that.
I can understand that. I think all you guys should go on Twitter and tell her, and Twitter and Facebook, and tell her she's going to be a great guest. She's worried. She's worried. I know she's listening to this. She's like, I don't think I'm going to be a good guest. I go, what are you talking about? We're not flying around the other side of the world to have you not be a guest on this show. We've been talking about you for 5 years. You're going to be a guest on this show.
And we're really looking forward to it, too. We've never been there. In fact, Andy got us tickets to the Studio Ghibli Museum, which I cannot wait to go
That's
to.
gonna be
And we
awesome.
can't record in it.
Which is great.
Which is great. Yeah, Miyazaki has a rule where you have to experience the museum without a lens. So you can't, there's no stills, there's no, there's nothing.
That's
you can't,
beautiful.
You have to go. I can never pronounce it right. Hayao Miyazaki.
Talking about like Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Howl's Moving Castle. Oh,
Yep.
I made that. Oh, wow. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, he's got a museum.
Yeah, there's a
Spirited
museum.
Away is literally
It's an amazing
I don't know if
movie.
You've seen that? That is the
Yes.
most to me, that was the most incredible animation like ever. From like the running down the stairs to like the bridge scene when he's running across to like how they work the spirits and the dragons. I hate these
it's great.
things.
He's talking about the microphone.
The microphones, yeah. One mic went down, so they got to share. So anyway, no, that's cool. Yeah, we're going to do that in Tokyo, and I'm going to look for a samurai monastery, and I don't know, I might just leave. I might just
you might just tune out.
I might not come back.
No, all right, fair enough.
If I can find some Hanzo steel. I will never come back.
What is this, Kill Bill?
Yes, that's exactly.
Can I offer, having fought many times in Japan, several times, and being half Japanese, some advice to the white man? When they offer you, because this has happened before with people that I've been with,
okay.
They offer you the $300 Kobe beef dinner or the $150 Kobe beef dinner. Pass on the whole thing. That's revenge against the Americans. They're charging $100 because I've gotten a little tiny piece of beef, and I think they just put Adolph's tenderizer on it, and you eat it. But they offer you. Do you want the $300 Kobe beef, or do you want the $150 Kobe beef dinner? And by the way, we end up getting the $150 one because the guy had to try it, and we were hungry when we left. So just to let you know, when you go to Tokyo, don't go there as a rube.
Yeah, good to know.
Well, thank God I'm a tourist, or I'm a vegetarian. I will be a tourist. I'm a tourist. I'm a tourist vegetarian, so I'm going to be just eating all their vegetables.
Would you like the 150 vegetable platter or the $300?
The $300 tofu,
Yeah.
or yeah, I'll be dumb enough and hit that.
We massage the soy.
Low one, like a $15
Entry level tofu.
You have to make the jump because you don't know what's in that.
So yes, and I'm going to, as they said in The Last Samurai, I'm going to spend my entire time there looking for the perfect cherry blossom because it would not be a wasted life. And Sanai and I are on the last day. We're going to have a sword battle. So 2 enter, 1 leave. So I might not come back. And if I were to die at her blade, I would be honored to die at the blade of Sanai.
You wouldn't?
All right.
Yeah,
well,
You'd be so pissed. Are you kidding me? Your arms chopped off. You're like, all right, I didn't pay for this.
you know,
she would
bearing
be an honorable death.
Bearing all of that in mind, let's just see how the trip goes.
I love how you're talking to me like I'm a child.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll
honey,
see.
we might not be
We'll
able
see.
to have a samurai
Yeah,
fight.
we'll see. All right.
We might not have an honorable death.
you know.
We might have to just get on the plane and come home and
Yeah.
finish working.
You know, and
Tom
then,
Cruise won't be there.
What?
Don't underestimate the women. Remember Kill Bill.
I know,
You've
dude.
seen
I
Kill
know.
Bill. If there's a woman, then still don't underestimate.
The female samurai in the X-Men Wolverine movie was amazing. Like if I meet her, I'm getting married again.
yeah.
Cherry blossoms. It's going to explode cherry blossoms. All right, what's coming out this week? Maleficent?
Maleficent. We
Okay.
talked about this in the summer movie preview. Oh, by the way, the summer movie preview episode will be released this week.
Yes.
You can get it on
I'm
our
so
site.
sorry, you guys. We should have. It's just been so busy. We have a couple episodes. The Dave Schmidt sound episode hasn't
Yeah.
gone up yet that we recorded in DC, and the summer movie preview. Just been busy with traveling for earbuds. Well, we will have it up there, you guys.
Yes.
I promise you.
And-
Maleficent. Everybody, the trailer looks great. The 10 writers,
Yeah, there's
that
no way.
scares
this
the
movie's
shit
gonna
out of
be
me.
good.
I don't feel like this is going to be a good script.
No, and also you have
That's
a
just
visual
worse.
effects. Yeah, visual effects supervisor promoted to director because that always works out. Okay, Million Ways to Die in the West. Now, I think if you're a Seth MacFarlane fan, you're going to go see this movie, regardless if you like Family Guy, if you liked Ted. It's okay. I think Seth MacFarlane's going to start making those movies that are reviewer proof. Whereas,
Wait,
like,
that's
remember,
Seth MacFarlane?
Yep.
yeah,
On like the baby face. And
Oh, yeah,
like
that's him,
and
yeah.
that's him. Damn, Seth could look really young.
he can.
That's an ability.
Hollywood movie magic.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But it's also like, remember when Adam Sandler was making one movie after another that critically got savage, but they made a fortune because it's just fans went out to see him. I think this is going to be the same kind of trajectory. It doesn't matter how good or bad these movies are. They're always going to make money because his fans are just going to always go see them.
All right. So that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We want to thank Don and Jansen for being on the show. And again, do you guys have any websites or Twitter handles or anything you want to promote?
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram, Jansen Baker. Post some cool pictures. That's about it. Hey, hey everybody.
Say hi. Donna, you have a website for you?
Yeah, easy to remember. DonTheDragonWilson.com.
Sweet.
Basically, yeah, it's got a little promo trailer there of some of my fights, movies, and things. So
And there's a link
check
to the
it out.
Kickstarter on your website too.
No, there is not, but just go to Kickstarter.com
Okay.
and put in martial arts kid, and everything comes up. So
Great.
it's easy to access.
You'll see that. You'll see, and it's starring Don the Dragon Wilson and Cynthia Rothrock. So when you're looking through Kickstarter, that's what you guys are finding. Thank you guys.
And Jansen.
And Jansen.
Yeah,
You see Jansen.
don't forget the martial art kid, which is the name of the movie. Which is basically, it would be his name if we just used his name.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll be a crafty.
I am the star of the movie, as if like Miyagi in the Karate Kid. I mean,
Okay.
if you want to say he's the star and not Ralph Macchio, well then
Just call me Robbie-san.
Yeah.
And I'll be very happy.
Yeah. But now, speaking of, a comparison to Ralph Macchio, I mean, to play the martial arts kid, aren't you 20 years too young?
Yeah, Ralph Macchio was like 47 when he played that role.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely. I mean, I'm already playing. Like, I'm 19 years old. I'm already playing.
You look young.
I look young. Yeah, I shave and I look like a 12-year-old. It's great.
Your
It's-
monthly shaving will make
my
you-
monthly shaving.
Yeah.
No, it definitely it comes in handy.
From Harrys.com.
Absolutely.
tie-in, Chris.
I've seen some of the women they put to be his co-lead, his co-star, and I mean, they're like the age that I might be dating them. You know what I mean? They got to go. Hopefully, I don't know who's going to get it. Get the role because they're in the process right
Okay.
now of casting his female lead, and I hope it's somebody that looks right for
Sure.
the age group. Of course, we don't want somebody that
Right.
You're saying we don't want some girl that's taller than me. That's like really like when it comes down to come on, like beat around the bush,
No, that's what Apple boxes are for.
right? That's what John Wayne. He was like the king of that, right?
Sylvester Stallone, he's like 3 feet tall.
Yes, exactly. And like, I mean, I talked to the director about like putting me in go-go boots or something like that, but that didn't work out. They said it was too Jonah Hill and cordial version.
All right, guys, we'll check that out, Kickstarter.com. As we said, June 1st, we will be in Sydney. I will be headlining the Comedy Attic in Bloomington, Indiana, June 12th through the 14th. On the 14th, we will be doing fan interviews.
You might be a little tired.
I will be jet lagged because we get back from Japan on the 10th, and then we
Yes.
take a red eye on the 11th.
Yeah.
I don't know who booked that. It was me, and I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was I was polite about it, but I was like, Graham, that's very ambitious. I was trying to say polite, like, maybe you shouldn't
I
do that.
mean, but, I've landed
Yeah.
from
Yeah, you're
Kuwait and gone right to some
and
one-nighter
you had a
gig.
gig. You can't.
What are you ever going to do, man?
You got
That's-
to.
I've done
the show must
Iraq,
go on.
Afghanistan. I can do Bloomington.
Breaking away.
Yes, I can do it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. That is our show. Of course, follow us on the Twitter and the Facebook, and of course, you can follow Earbuds at Earbuds Pod Movie and get updates and stuff. All the photos we're going to be sending and updates from overseas, and then as we start editing over the summer, we're going to release little cool short
And don't forget, you can also still pre-order the movie. We have the $25 and $50 tiers at comedyfilmnerds.com, and also a custom one if you want to do one of the more expensive ones, like 100 or 1,000. We still need money for the budget, so it's not. We would appreciate a couple more pre-orders.
Couldn't hurt. And we got some great artwork from Paige Branson, and
Yes,
we're going to
we're gonna
that
start
on-
making t-shirts.
We're going to start making t-shirts. It's really, really cool. We posted that on the Earbuds Facebook page, so
Yep.
check that out, guys. All right, thank you so much to Don and Jansen. My name is Graham Elwood.
I'm Chris Mancini, and as always, remember,
Han shot first.